Welcome back, Know It Alls. Thanks for listening to the show. And as always, give us some feedback about what we are doing so we can make sure you're having a good time listening to us.
Like I had me
Oh,
big
hold
and
on.
you small.
Sorry, you usually you have what?
I usually have you on the big screen and then me small
Oh,
instead of.
so
But
you like
now
it
this works.
you like it when I'm big and you're small?
Although I look blurry, that's
Oh,
weird.
I'm more into how big you want me to be.
I don't
Like,
know. I thought you were trying to be big there when you're laying on the bed. I didn't know what you were doing there. I'm like,
uh,
oh, sorry, I interrupted you there.
yeah, I usually leave the camera running when I'm laying on the bed doing stuff. I figured someone's
Uh,
bound to pay me sometime in the future, maybe to watch that shit.
yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
I usually keep the camera on when I'm shaving my butthole.
nice.
So
I started
yeah,
waxing my butthole, so that's the route I go. It's
man, you're hardcore.
oh, hi,
I
hi,
I
hi,
I want to go to that.
Papio.
I want to go to that place where they make chocolates from the impressions of
Yeah,
your
yeah.
butthole.
I
I
remember
want to
that.
do that. I want to. I'm serious. I am totally serious. I want to do that
Yeah, that's so weird, right? I remember watching that in a video years ago.
because I want to be retired and I want to send a package of chocolate buttholes to somebody I don't like.
I've got a
Along with the fucking, they have the, you can buy a bag of dicks. They're fucking like gummy dicks. It's like eat a bag of dicks. So
nice.
mail them a bag of dicks and some chocolate buttholes.
Well, it's like the town in Scotland that I visited that used to be called Penis, like Peinnness.
Uh, yeah,
And this
they
the
changed their name.
yeah, the city changed one of the signs to Bennis, so they put a B in front.
Uh-huh.
But you can see on the other side of the sign that the B is ripped off and it says penis. So then
Uh-huh.
the city changed it to penis instead of penis. You just
Uh-huh.
like fuck off. Just leave it. I mean, you drive into the town, it's got like three houses and a school, and the
Uh-huh.
addresses are all on the houses, like number one penis, number two penis. So the addresses still match, but the street signs on the outside don't. And it's like a fucking gold mine. Like I went to Scotland and all I got was penis, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it would have been great. Just the t-shirts, dick-shaped ice cube trays. I think it's a fucking gold mine waiting
Oh,
to happen,
that's fucking genius. Yeah. And
right?
we should make some t-shirts. I went to Scotland and all I got was penis. And it's like have
Right?
like a fucking like a picture of like a crossroads, the three fucking houses, number one, number two, number three, penis.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous why they'd want to change it so much.
Right.
But
You should fucking embrace it in this day and age. I mean, fuck.
I guess the people who live there probably don't care, seeing as they have the addresses on their houses, right?
Right.
And
Yeah. I want to go to number one Badge Lane.
that's a place I'm
Once
in.
I don't know, there has to be. Once you drive in, you just want to keep backing in and out of the driveway.
Yeah, you like that? How's that feel?
How's that? How's that concrete?
What's
Uh,
really weird is this is supposed to be a Thanksgiving episode, and
yeah,
it started off totally wrong on every
totally.
level. But
So let's keep rolling from here. Hey, all you know it alls. Welcome to an
Thanksgiving.
unusually started Thanksgiving. That's
So
right.
being Canadian, myself, American, yourself, our Thanksgivings are different yet the same, right? So
Sort of, yeah.
I mean, food related, I'm sure it's the same stuff here and there, like turkey, stuffing, gravy, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce. Like what else
Yeah.
you got? Brussels sprouts, broccoli, corn.
Well, our family, at least the one that my main Thanksgivings were at when I was younger, was also had corn. We had
Like corn on the
corn.
cob or like niblets
No,
of
just like corn, like loose corn.
okay.
It's like can of corn or
Yeah.
whatever. And baked beans
Okay.
because I like baked beans, and my grandma always made sure that I got what I wanted.
Aw,
So yeah,
lovely.
my grandma loved me. So and pie, of course, pie.
Yeah, oh yeah, apple pie and pumpkin pie are two pies here for Thanksgiving. Those are like
Is
the
she
two big ones.
usually yeah, she usually made pumpkin pie or pecan pie.
Uh,
One of the two.
I find pumpkin is like the bottom of the barrel for pie. Like if I was told, "Hey, we're gonna remove one kind of pie from the planet," I'd be like pumpkin, and I wouldn't even wait for the question to be like fully
Yeah.
asked, I would automatically just be like, take pumpkin, just take it.
I got a couple of pies from the store for this week, and I got not a pumpkin. I got pumpkin in mind. I got a pecan pie and I got an apple pie.
Yeah.
So
our Dairy Queens here, up until last year, pumpkin pie was their Thanksgiving blizzard of the month, and we do ours in October. So our Thanksgiving
okay.
is the second Monday in October.
Now, do you have Halloween?
We do. It's the
So you have
31st.
Thanksgiving before Halloween?
We do every year.
Wow, that's true.
Yeah. And whenever I'm down in the States in November for Thanksgiving, Dairy Queen always has apple pie blizzard and pumpkin pie blizzard, which kind of pisses me off. But we finally got the fucking apple pie blizzard 2 years ago. Finally, after like 20 years of only having pumpkin pie blizzard on Thanksgiving, they finally decided to do your choice of either apple or pumpkin.
Well, you know what they say. Now you're shitting in high cotton, man. You got apple pie blizzard.
Well, the thing is, I don't even get either of them. The only reason I'm excited about it is it's the only time of year they have the pie crust topping, like the chunks.
Yeah.
And I go create my own. I get key lime pie, so I get them to do pie crusts, whipped cream, vanilla ice cream, and then they have this like lime slushy kind of drink, and I get them to squirt. You like that? Squirt. Three squirts of lime for the lime slush, and it tastes like a fucking key lime pie.
Oh, that sounds tasty.
And the thing that pisses me off is the last time I went there, they made it, they poured the whipped cream on, and then one of the fucking idiot employees grabbed like the nutmeg and dusted the top because he thought it was like pumpkin pie or apple pie. I'm like, dude, no, I don't want nutmeg with my key lime pie.
Right.
So yeah, I ate the whipped cream, fuck whatever, and then I blended the rest. But yeah, key lime pie is a shit and a half, and I can only get it this time of year at Dairy Queen.
So you excited about that?
Hell yeah. And as for your Thanksgiving, why do you celebrate it? Why do Americans celebrate giving thanks?
Well, I'm gonna lay some stuff on you here.
All right.
Not really. So just to be interesting.
Yeah.
My grandfather was really into genealogy.
Okay.
And traced part of his side of the family or whatever back, all the way back to Reverend William Brewster of the Mayflower. So my relative was Reverend William Brewster on the Mayflower, which means that as the Mayflower and all that other stuff, they would have celebrated part of the first Thanksgiving.
Yep.
I'm not super well versed on it, other than all the stories everybody else hears. The whole thing that it was a celebration and whatever. I think I was just reading something on it. There was only a very few Native Americans that were at the first Thanksgiving.
Well, because most of them had already been killed by the white men.
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily at that point. I mean, they were there serving the hors d'oeuvres. Oh no, sorry, that's later. They were there, and they were invited there or whatever because they had decent relations when they first started. I think, again, don't quote me. If you're like super woke and everything about Native Americans and American history, please don't comment. I mean, well, you can comment. I won't care, but you can comment.
You're not a historian.
No, I'm not a historian. All I know was, there was supposedly, there's this thing. I don't even know if they actually even had a turkey. They might have had pheasant for all I know. All I know is that they had some kind of get together, and it was a fall before the winter hit. I mean, God, I don't know if it was in November even, but if it was, it's like, man, I'm sure it was cold up in Massachusetts. But they had a meal or whatever, and they gave thanks for surviving another year because I'm sure things were tough. And it wasn't even a national holiday, I don't think, until I can't remember if it was the late 1800s or the early 1900s. I read the story on it somewhere, but there was a woman that had taken this upon a cause, and she campaigned upon, ran like a, I don't know, I guess you want to call it a campaign, but whatever. She drummed up the interest and convinced the government to make it a holiday because it wasn't always a holiday.
Yeah.
And she came across a story of them and these thanks, and she thought that it's something that should be brought back into the culture. I mean, I could look it up sometime if I wanted to, but anyway, so since the late 1800s or early 1900s is when it became a holiday, and it's something that we've been celebrating ever since. And basically, it's just at this point in time, it's basically you don't get any gifts. You just get together with family and food, and you argue, and then you have to split time between your family and her family if you're married or whatever, and all that hassle. But it's a time to enjoy your family and be with them. And I sure wish I would do anything to be able to go back in time to some of the Thanksgivings from my teenage years and early 20s. So I don't know. What was the question?
Just, what American Thanksgiving?
Apparently, I took too many of these earlier.
Sorry, what are those? I can't see that. Those like edibles?
Yes. Kiwi watermelon, baby.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, they're tasty, but I can't take more than half of one.
I can't take anything at all. I'd like to, but I've got my kids here, and then I still have to go grocery shopping after this, so I got to be aware of shit that's going on. Yeah, busy day.
Well,
right?
not to mention the fact that if you do something stupid, you end up stuck outside and you can freeze to death. So there's always that.
Welcome to the prairies in November.
That's right.
No, your Thanksgiving, like even the way you describe it, that's what I always thought Thanksgiving was. I always thought it was, Plymouth Rock, Pilgrims, Native Americans, and dinner together. And not until last year, the year before, I thought, wait a minute, I live in Canada. Why am I celebrating anything to do with Massachusetts and the Pilgrims and the Mayflower? It didn't make any sense. So I looked it up and I was like, oh, well, we celebrate Thanksgiving and it's completely different. Right? It's the same kind of food, the same kind of idea, just get together and be with each other and, be thankful for shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really weird. I did a bunch of reading about it today just to make sure I was on top of it. So here we go. Canada Thanksgiving. And this isn't copied from anything. I sort of just typed out my own meaning of what I read.
Okay.
So if it doesn't sound very professional, don't blame the internet, blame me and me being at work and doing two things at once. So it's a nationally celebrated holiday and has been since 1879, which is weird since Canada was created in 1867. So it wasn't that long after Canada was a country that Thanksgiving was an actual holiday.
What was Canada before it was Canada? Was it just part of Britain?
Canada was just North America, just like the USA was North America.
Was it like unincorporated land with people on it, basically? What was it as a country before it became Canada? I guess it was just
it was different provinces that united together to become one.
Okay.
Right? So just like your 13 colonies slowly got together and you created a country, right?
Right.
Ours is like that.
So you had provinces and they became Canada. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you had Quebec, who's just been a pain in everybody's ass ever since.
Well, Quebec was there before Canada was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the French were there before the British were there.
Yeah.
So
there was a war, and the French people didn't win, so they got to keep their little piece of Canada and nothing else, right?
That's right. Canadian Thanksgiving 1879. Okay.
Yeah, it corresponds to the British and European Harvest Festival. And over time, it has had many dates for celebration, from May 21st, April 5th, and even June 18th. And finally, they placed it on the second Monday in October.
So is that like Columbus Day in the United States?
I don't know. When is Columbus Day?
I thought it was usually like the second Monday in October.
I have no idea.
Because sometimes my birthday's on Columbus Day, sometimes it's not. Because Columbus Day is never the same day. It's not like always October 10th or October 11th. It's always like a Monday. So
So ours is a second Monday in October. The first time it was ever observed as a civic holiday was April 5th, 1872, in order to give thanks to the quick recovery of an illness that was plaguing King Edward VII. Can you imagine that the King of England was sick and got better? So then the government of Canada said, well, let's create a holiday. How weird is that?
No, how's it weird? Technically, at that time, the King of England was the ruler of Canada still, probably.
It just seems weird to me that, he got better. It's a holiday. I don't know, just like a strange excuse,
how much of it we gotta think, hey, it's somebody's birthday. Hey, it's a holiday.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
guess
anyway,
so.
so it's weird. It's a little weird, weird enough, I guess.
But before that, it was just a day for thanks, and the reasons could be taken for pretty much anything the government cited a reason to give thanks for. But this is the awesome thing. The first recorded Canada Thanksgiving was 300 years before Canada was even a country.
Now,
So
how was it recorded? That sounds
in,
interesting.
in 1579, so people were exploring Canada in like 1534, right? So there
Right.
was ships from England and ships from France that were going up the St. Lawrence River and trying to find out the Northwest Passage. And they were, befriending people of Canada who already lived here, and they're creating settlements and stuff. And over time, you start to, like, you guys get colonies, and then pretty soon you build up and you get a militia, and then you get government, and then you create a country. So 300 years before Canada was a country, there was an explorer named Martin Frobisher who was in search of the Northwest Passage. He ended up losing almost everything as he was navigating the icy waters of Baffin Island. So he was trying to get from Europe through the Northwest Passage, and he ended up in Baffin Island. So, like, northern fucking Canada and Greenland up there.
Uh-huh.
And he lost almost everything, his crew, his ships, and everything, but they managed to survive. They hit some land, some people were there, and they decided to give thanks in the country of Canada for the ones that survived. So even the people that found them were thankful that they found other people and were able to help them and save them. So that was the first recorded Thanksgiving on Canadian soil before Canada was even Canada.
It's very interesting. And now looking back in a historical context, the whole concept of trying to find the Northwest Passage is so dumb because they just made the Panama Canal, and it's like, oh, that's much easier. Can you imagine how long it would take if there was a river that ran all the way through North America to, like, okay, we're going to take this long ass river all the way through this country. Like, yeah.
Let's just
But
build
anyway,
the smallest landmass possible between North and South America. Let's just bulldoze it and blow that up. It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so very first one was several hundred years ago.
Yeah.
And somehow they recorded this and said, hey, we just had a party to thank living. We're going to write this down.
It was somebody in the group that was thanking God. So they were like thanking God that they had survived and that they had been found. And I guess they never did find that Northwest Passage. And I didn't read more about him, but I have no idea if that guy actually went back to Europe and came back with more ships and founded more settlements and stuff.
You should look it up, man. You should look it up sometime.
Yeah.
Or not. It doesn't really affect your life at this point.
No, I've never heard the name, like, in all my schooling with anything. Like, I'm pretty big on history. I don't know this guy's name at all as an explorer of Canada.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that's the ancient history of it for Canada. And so and then you had 1872, then 1879 it was a recognized holiday, moved to October.
Yep.
And then has it stayed that date ever since?
Yeah, it's been the second Monday in October since that time.
Right. And ours has been, I don't know. I don't know when ours started for sure, but it's been, as long as I've been alive, it's been the fourth Thursday of November, whatever date it is.
So it's not over the weekend, it's before the
weekend?
On
a Thursday. It's on a Thursday. And most people, if you're lucky, you get Thursday and Friday off, so you get a 4-day weekend. Like, I get a 4-day weekend. I'm thankful for that. I am thankful for that. I'm thankful to get. I didn't always used to get it. I used to have to go to work on Friday, which was the most slow, boring book reading while I'm at work day ever. All the bosses were gone, but you peasants need to go ahead and come on in on Friday because we might have a phone call. Yeah, we had like 3 phone calls in a day. Yeah, I'm glad you paid the salary of 8 people to be here doing this all day, but whatever.
See, that's different than mine. Like, I'm always, you know me, I work a lot. So my employees, their kids, their families say, hey, we're having Thanksgiving, so they're not coming to work. So if they don't come to work, one of us has to come to work. And since it's my business, hey, guess who has to go? This guy. Right. So I usually don't have Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving because I don't have enough employees to work. So I have to work. So yeah, like last year I had Thanksgiving at the end of November.
Oh, wow.
So I celebrated after American Thanksgiving in my house for Thanksgiving. So yeah, turkey and everything. But I don't think my kids care as long as they get the meal and they get to hang out. It shouldn't matter to them what day it's on, right?
You know,
And it,
I agree. I mean, I just loved it because I got to eat a ton of good food and get
yeah,
stuffed. Although for a long time, until I was probably around 16 or 17, I was eating because there's so many people there. I was always eating, well, maybe like 14. I was always eating in the kids' table, which basically was the cardboard table set up in the living room where all the kids hung out while
yeah.
the adults were at the main table, until they kind of started splitting off as everybody got older and started having their own Thanksgivings. And then after the meal, me and my cousin would retire. This was in the 80s. So we'd retire to my grandma and grandpa's bedroom where they had their TV.
And you guys are
And
double Dutch rudder.
yes, that's exactly right. In
Oh,
this case, by Double Dutch Rudder, we would fire up an Atari 2600 with our joysticks
ah.
and play video games for hours, especially River Raid. That was our jam. So I
Do you think
miss I miss my cousin David a lot.
that's
So
beautiful?
yeah, it was until he got to the point until when I was about 13. So I had those experiences from like when the Atari came out for about 3 or 4 or 5 years, and then my cousin got old enough, and then he got involved with the
Wow.
crowd, and basically I was only 2 years younger than him, but he just kind of went off into the teen experience, and I didn't see him as often after that.
So
Every once in a while.
can you do a solo Dutch rudder? I don't know how, like, do you want to explain to people what a Dutch rudder is and a double Dutch rudder? That way we could determine if
You're
it's
you know you're probably better at explaining it than I am, since you
all
told me
right.
about the concept. Although I think it basically, if you took you could do a solo Dutch rudder. You just grab your joystick with one hand
Yeah.
and then work it with your other.
Okay.
That's kind of like a double Dutch rudder because you're two fists in it,
It's
which is
true.
like something I've never experienced from a woman. So
So a Dutch rudder is, for instance, let's say Charlie Ray and I are facing each other, and I have an erection. So Charlie Ray doesn't want to do anything homoerotic. So what he does is I grab my own wang with my hand, and then he grabs my wrist and he jerks my wrist up and down. So it feels like somebody else is doing stuff to me, but I'm only touching my own penis.
basically, it's the equivalent of a woman trying to give a hand job.
Yeah,
Because they
unless you've
can't really
trained
give
her.
because they can't really give good ones either. I mean, at least
Yeah.
most of the ones I've ever met, they're like trying to force kickstart a lawnmower or something down there. I'm like, no, I'll just take care of that myself.
The secret is you got to get a lot of lube. That way it's
Yeah,
never too
yes,
rough, right? It's
yeah,
never too rough with
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
And
They have most of them have no concept on how to give a really proper hand job.
in all
So,
fairness, they probably say we have no concept of anything when it comes to their
well,
bodies.
that's
So
true, but I'm working on that. So
yeah, I mean, there's only so many videos I can watch, or like books I can read, or guys I can listen to who have experience. Like, give me a break
yeah,
here.
I would send you access to the multiple hours of stuff that I have on that topic, but with your copious amount of free time, I'm not sure when you'd ever be able to watch them unless it's at work, which might be interesting to try to do.
Yeah, I'm just at work by myself most of the
Yeah,
time. So
yeah. I can send you a couple of videos on how to improve your thrusting technique.
there's no double Dutch rudder in there at all.
No, no, just ways to improve your own skills.
Hmm. I wouldn't mind finding some help in that scenario.
I think you're doing pretty well in that field, so you're
Yeah.
all
Well, I
right.
mean, I do send you those videos and you do critique them, and that's awfully nice of you, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need that. I mean, there's not many people in my life that I can be like, "Hey, watch my sex tape,"
There
and
you go.
tell me what I'm doing right and tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Well, you haven't been able to parlay it into Kim Kardashian's success, so obviously you're still doing it wrong.
Yeah, no shit. Well, I mean,
Basically,
the
basically
difference is
she
I'm sending
found
it.
she founded an empire and all of everything off of getting dick down on screen.
Yeah,
How amazing is that? What a country, as Yakov Smirnoff used to say. What a country.
yeah,
You can become multiply super rich having sex on screen.
yeah. But it all
And
depends on who you have sex with,
well, that's
right?
true.
So, I mean, you and I could have sex and record it and upload it, and we wouldn't make any money. What people would
No,
they
no,
might pay us to take the video down, right?
probably.
And it wouldn't
Right.
be a lot. It'd be like, here's $11. Just take it off the server. I'm like,
Yes,
$11 more than I have, right?
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
No such luck with Kim Kardashian fame and money.
Yeah, my goal is still just to have a party house and just have tons of people come over that are swingers. They just wear masks, and it's just a whole debauchery party every weekend. And I just video it all and sell pay-per-view subscriptions. So
I mean, I don't know how much I'd pay, but I mean, I definitely want to watch, right?
Hey, I mean, $10 a person for unlimited streaming over a weekend. 1,000 people. Let's see, 1,000 times 10, $10,000 a weekend. 10,000, 40,000, 40,000 times 12. That's $500,000.
That's quick
Not
math.
bad.
Do you find you do better math when you're trying to figure out sex things than when you're doing anything else?
Yeah, I just divide by the number of penises I think that's involved, and it usually speeds up the math. So I don't know that
I
sex
thought you were
makes,
about to say
I don't know that math. I don't know that sex and math makes me think faster. I've always been fairly decent at math, figuring stuff out, at least ballparking it pretty quick. So like ballparking how much bullshit I have in my basement, how much money I could get out of it if I sold it.
So
and then I could fund that house and all the cameras, and then I could just every weekend while all that sex is going on, be sitting up in a control booth running all the screens while all this fun shit's going on.
but who's coming to these parties? That's what I want to know.
I don't know, but you know what? I would definitely have a Thanksgiving event party. To get it back on topic.
With your Thanksgiving these days, because you said your grandma and stuff isn't around, but who's doing your Thanksgiving dinners? Like who you celebrating Thanksgiving with this year?
Honestly, well, right now we're still talking about it, but probably we're going to do some kind of small thing, and basically it's just going to be me, my mom, and my aunt.
Okay.
I don't really get to celebrate a true Thanksgiving anymore, or a Christmas. It's really kind of sad when I think about it, but it is what it is. So I don't have we used to have a family kind of get together that was happening for a while, and that's kind of fallen apart, and then the COVID thing hit and it hasn't really started up again. They started doing some family get together thing in the spring. It's not the same as a Christmas, Thanksgiving, like family holiday gathering. And I really miss it. I really, I have a couple of times in the past few years, I have gone over to a woman friend of mine, and I mean an actual just friend, not more than a friend, her and her husband and stuff. And she's had like a family type meal, and I went over and enjoyed that. But I feel like as the single guy, I'm I'm that person you always saw when you were a kid. It's like, who's Uncle Jimmy that's at this place? I don't know him before. And they're like, oh, he's some guy off the street. I mean, I feel kind of like that guy. It's kind of a bummer. I would like to be in an environment where I had, a big get together party, and it would be fun and enjoyable. That doesn't mean I want to do all the cooking, and definitely don't want to do all the dishes, but I always want to be there to eat.
So
my dad was awesome about that. Okay, so we'd go over early in the morning. I'd go over, I'd be playing video games in the morning. Of course, I was a kid, I was a boy. I wasn't really expecting, at least in my family, I wasn't expected to do anything. My grandma was like old school,
Yep.
cooked from scratch, fucking genius in the kitchen type. I loved her food. She was taking care of it all. My mom would help her a little bit. My aunt would help her a little bit and stuff. I'm in the bedroom playing video games till the last minute. And it's like, oh, it's lunchtime. And I'd come in there and scarf down 2 to 3 platefuls of food, till I'm about ready to blow up, my dad would show, but basically I'd be over there like around 9 o'clock or something. My dad would slide in about 11 o'clock, about 20 minutes before dinner was ready. He'd sit down at the adult table, have the meal, do whatever. About 10 minutes after everybody's done eating or getting close to getting eaten, he'd be like, so what kind of pie you got? And we get pie. And then about 10 minutes after that, he'd be like, hasta la vista, baby.
Nice.
He was gone. And, he didn't stick around for small talk. I mean, he was there for the meal, talked to some people then, and then he's gone. So
who's gonna cook the grandma recipes when your aunt, your mom sit down and eat? Like, are you getting
nobody does anymore,
and none of it tastes the same at all?
No, not really. What I would do, short of being screwed on screen on TV, and even then that might be a possibility, to have that kind of meal experience.
Yeah.
I miss it terribly. And so if anybody's still lucky enough to be having those meals, enjoy every single one of them, because one day you won't.
I've been,
Not to be a bummer. It's just a reality of life. But
yeah,
let me tell you something. Those memories are some of my favorites.
I've been cooking my own Thanksgiving dinner for so long. I can't even remember what Thanksgiving with my mom or my grandma ever tasted like at all.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
remember Christmases and Thanksgiving with my grandpa carving up the turkey. I remember it always tasted good, and they had a big family, 6 kids, and the kids like all married with like 3 kids. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of kids, a lot of grandkids, a lot of great grandkids, and yeah, the house was full. Like their dining room table had 10 seats, so all the
Yeah.
adults sat there, and yeah, the kids sat at other in the kitchen. They had like a 6-seat table in the kitchen, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, the firstborn, us, I'm one of the firstborn out of like my grandparents grandkids,
Yeah. Grandkids.
and
Uh-huh.
so yeah, there was enough space at the table for us, but I don't remember what any of the food tasted like. I remember my grandpa cutting turkey. I remember it was delicious. Like my grandma,
Mhm.
like you said,
Oh
ninja in
yeah.
the kitchen, right?
Yeah. She made turkey gravy from scratch, from the turkey giblets and juice, and
Yeah,
she just made the gravy. I mean, there was no store-bought crap.
yeah,
This was all fresh made. Oh my God, it's so
yeah.
good.
I mix it. I mean, I boil down and break down my turkey at the end. Sometimes I use it to make like just soup stock, and sometimes I just keep it in my freezer for turkey stock for
Hmm.
when I want gravy.
Right.
So yeah, I'll chisel off the frozen shit. I'll melt it in the pan. I'll throw the flour in there and the butter, and I'll thicken it up, and boom, done. Turkey gravy,
Sounds
right?
delicious, man. I would love to sit down and enjoy your turkey.
Well, my turkey comes with a side of Dutch Rudder, so hey,
Let's come with some giblets.
yeah,
Gotta
I
stuff
can't
that turkey.
I can't do those things with my family. So Dutch
I
Rudder,
hope not.
it's got to be. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't. Where do you think I live? Like, I don't live in Alabama, right?
Right. Right.
If I
Now,
lived in Alabama, it'd be fine.
thing is my mom never, even though she had my grandma who was a great cook, she never learned to cook her recipes. So I never got to learn, you know, obviously I should have learned from my grandmother, but
Yeah,
that's exactly what a 14-year-old boy has on his mind in
you
life at that
you have a
time. Oh, I want to
Atari.
spend hours with my grandma learning how to cook something. No, I just want to eat and go do boy shit and be selfish, like most
You look at your
kids are.
dad. You look at your dad, and you're like, that's my mission, to show up when
Yeah.
dinner's ready, eat, eat some pie, and then fuck off, right?
Yeah.
You know, or
Yeah.
play Atari,
Uh,
right?
my my dad was a very simple man. And I don't say that necessarily in a bad way. It's just who he was. He grew up pretty poor. And most of the times, all my mom ever made my dad was pinto beans,
Yeah,
pork chops. There's like 2 or 3 things. He'd eat that. He'd eat cottage cheese. He had like this cucumber salad thing he ate. That's pretty much all he ate all the time. That was what he ate. Every once in a while, if we went out to eat somewhere, which was very rare, especially to have my dad out was
yeah.
very rare. We might go to some place like a Ponderosa or a
I was just gonna
Sizzler.
say
Yeah,
Ponderosa because we talked about
yeah,
that before.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You know my story about him whistling and waving the corn on the
yeah,
cob.
yeah,
That
absolutely.
was that was a nightmare I'd never forget. Although looking at it now is absolutely hilarious. At the time it was mortifying to a 14-year-old boy. But yeah, he didn't really do much. He didn't really eat extravagant. I mean, the dude went to bed at 7:30, 8 o'clock every night because he got up at 3:30 in the morning. You know,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, that was him. He got up in the morning, he puttered around, he went to work, came home early, puttered around, had dinner, watched a little bit of TV and the news, and he went to bed. That was it. That was my entire experience, pretty much, of my dad my whole life. So, uh, that kind of a meal. Well, my dad. Okay, that's not 100% true. Sometimes for the 4th of July, he would grill out and he'd cook and he'd do like ribs or something. He
yeah.
could grill pretty good, but he basically didn't want to cook. My mom cooked the same thing for him all the time,
And
and she never made anything else really for us. I mean, my meals at home, I had a can of soup, I had TV dinners, I had every kind of bullshit crap shit
yeah,
that you could think of as far as convenience food. And then my experience was I got to go over to my grandma's on the weekend. I got to enjoy good food. So let me tell you, I ate as best as I could on the weekends because I knew all week long I was just having,
pinto beans and pork
peanut butter
chops.
sandwiches, pinto beans. Oh, let me tell you, you can learn how to eat pinto beans in many different ways. I mean, it was kind of like Bubba Gump talking about, you got shrimp gumbo, you got Creole gumbo, I'm like, you got pinto beans with salt and pepper, you got pinto beans with ketchup, you got pinto beans on top of mashed potatoes, you got pinto beans with regular potatoes, or you got white gravy and some hamburger and some pinto beans, pinto beans.
So do you think like he really enjoyed pinto beans? Like, do you think it was something from his childhood?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like if I'd spent time at my grandparents' house on that side of the family,
Yeah.
I had pinto beans, potatoes. Yeah. Like I said, it was real just country folk food. And the sad thing is my grandparents really had money. They were just tight. Frugal. Let me say frugal. Frugal sounds better than tight.
Yeah.
They held on to money so tight that it fucking screamed before it left their pocket. Mainly my grandpa. My grandma didn't really work. My grandma never really worked. She raised, 3 kids, and she did babysitting and stuff on the side to get money and stuff like that. But my grandfather was a retired engineer for the railroad.
Yeah.
He made a lot of money. He made a lot of money, but he was tight with it.
So did they use it for vacations, or did it just sit in the bank account?
They never went anywhere. My grandfather would never leave his farm, the land that we had. He had like 30 acres of land. He would never leave the house empty. There always had to be somebody there. He didn't even, this is messed up, I just found this out. He didn't even attend his own mom's funeral because he would have had to left the house empty.
Weird.
Yes. I have a weird family. Just so all you know, listeners, I have had a weird family, and it is what it is. But yeah, weird family.
I can't say
a lot of paranoia.
Can't say the same thing. I mean, my whole family, they're pretty much the same, which is awesome. Like, we all just get along like a bunch of fucking idiot teenagers. Like, everyone, all of us. But the 6-year-olds right down to the 15-year-olds they're just. They just love each other. I will tell you more about it some other time, but I'll just say this. There's a lot of dysfunction that runs strong in my family, a lot of alcohol abuse, a lot of abuse of other sorts that are in there. Thankfully, none of this stuff really impacted me personally. Well, no, but you got all those Dutch Rudders. You got all those Dutch Rudders.
I did. And I gave them to the cats in the neighborhood. God dang, they really did not like that. They'd hiss and they'd bite me, and I'm trying to help you out, and their penises are just as like, the tongue, how curly it is. The same thing on their penises. It was rough. I hurt my hands like sandpaper jerking. Oh man, it was just rough.
Isn't it great how
how everything devolves into sexual shit? Yes,
everything.
Yes, but we'll go back to Thanksgiving. I really miss Thanksgiving, and despite all the weirdness of my family, I miss all the ones that are gone, because pretty much everybody the generation above me now are almost all gone. It's very few people left, and when you look at the Great Wheel of Time, guess who's the next on the wheel?
Charlie Ray. But you can be thankful for the time you had with them.
Well, I am thankful.
And that's
I wish I could experience it now, knowing the things I know now, and not being a completely self-absorbed young kid that didn't understand shit about the world. But I guess that's the way the world works. At least in my day, in our day, everybody wasn't sitting around the table at Thanksgiving like this, not even looking at each other when they're all on their phones. So I just had a visit with my aunt that was here in town, and they came back up to visit from North Carolina, and it's probably going to be my aunt's last trip up here, due to her age and health and everything. And my cousin brought her 2 younger daughters with her, and the whole time at the dinner we were having, they were just basically buried in their phone the whole time. How old are they? Like 14 and 16. I mean, literally the age where the phone is just their whole life. So so it was it was just kind of weird thinking about how we got to enjoy holidays back when we were kids.
Well, we were all present.
Yeah, we were all present. I mean, even if we weren't really present as kids, like the kids weren't necessarily as present with the adults, but way more than they are now. Now they're just completely like zoned out. You could be talking about a whole bunch of crap, and then ask them a question, and then they'd be like, "Huh? What?" I
use my phone a lot, right? I do. Yeah. I'm on it quite a bit. But
so am I.
I can't. I can't imagine having a family dinner like that. I mean, I get dinner every day. Like when we have dinner in my house, my daughter can't handle people chewing, so she goes to her room. My
Uh,
son wants to be on his iPad, so he sits at the table and he goes on his iPad while he eats dinner. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just sit here. And I put my phone on, I put on a TV show or a movie, and then he turns his iPad up, I turn my phone up because we can't hear over each other. I'm like, this is so stupid. Just sit the fuck down. It takes you 15 minutes to eat a meal, right?
right. Just yeah, block the time out.
15 minutes is all you need. But yeah, I've got one kid that refuses to be in a room with other people who are chewing.
Well, I mean, I'd be like, earplugs.
Yeah. Just I don't want to hear the arguments. I don't want to get into an argument. I don't want to fight with these people. So I just like fuck off, go to your room.
Right.
Right.
But the thing is you say that and you think, how many other people are going through the exact same thing you're going through? I mean, we have become so segmented as a society. This will take us down a different rabbit hole. We go too far, but I mean, we just have no concept as human beings to just sit down and enjoy a meal together and just like look at each other and actually care.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, this will be, I mean, for the most part, I haven't actually sat down and had a meal at a table unless I'm out to eat for like 6 years, dude.
You don't eat at your table at home?
I don't have one.
So you just eat on your computer desk, or like what do you do?
I eat on my desk, or I eat on a TV tray. Hell, I eat standing up over the sink.
I try and sit down every day when I'm not at work, right? When I'm not at work for dinner and I'm making dinner for the kids, I like to sit down. And sometimes when everybody wants to piss off and go to their own room, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna sit in front of my TV and I'm gonna watch a show.
Which is, see, here's the thing. Like the house that I live in, it's not the biggest house.
Yeah.
There is no dining room per se. There is no dining room. My grandma's house had a dining room. It was like the central room. You had the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Connected to the dining room, which connected to the living room. And then from the dining room, you had stairs that went up to the second floor, or you went through a door and there was a little hallway, and then there's a bathroom and then a bedroom at each end. So that was the house, right?
I'm picturing the exact same. I'm picturing the exact same house at my grandparents.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 1940s house, right? And then there was a doorway at the back of the kitchen that went down to the basement, right? Simple house, right? Well, this house that I live in, it's got a super long living room, but narrow.
Yeah.
Then the kitchen's behind it, and behind the living room is like one way is the kitchen, the other way is a bedroom, and then you have a kind of square hallway, and you have 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. You have 1 bathroom, 3 bedrooms. There's no quote dining room. You could put like a small table maybe in the kitchen, but then you have hardly room for any kind of things else. And now, of course, now fixtures are so big. Our refrigerator's huge. I mean, it takes up so much space. You just have no room. And so, my mom usually just sits in her chair that watches TV and has a, folding table that she eats on, and that's it. And we don't eat dinner together because I'm always busy and running around. I mean, honestly, most of the time I just eat standing up. I mean, and I think about that and I just think, God, I just want to have a normal enough life that I have a nice place and I have a table to enjoy a meal at, even if it's just by myself.
Yeah, I was just going to say, even by yourself.
Table. Yeah, just a table.
Well, there's goals.
This is, again, you'll take this back, and I'm not complaining because Lord knows, I mean, there's plenty of people living in cardboard boxes right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm happy I have a house that when I go over, I hit the thermostat, heat comes on. I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I have enough money that I can afford to pay the astronomical heating bills that we're going to continue to enjoy the rest of our lives here on this planet. I'm thankful for that. But you know what? It's just like all these little things just annoy me enough in life that it's like, I want to have this, I want to have something that impacts me every day. So again, basement full of crap, got to sell it. So, all I'm saying is this: wherever you're at, no matter what you're at, even if you have minor complaints, give thanks, be grateful for what you have, and just acknowledge, and not to say that because I'm not going to lay something on you like, be glad you got food on your plate. There's starving kids in Africa, which is a true statement. There's starving kids everywhere. There's starving kids probably down your street if you really investigated and looked around. But even if you're struggling, but if you're still surviving, just be thankful for it. And if you have certain family members and stuff and you're still able to enjoy them, be thankful that they're here,
Even the ones that you don't enjoy, be thankful they're still around.
Well, avoid the ones that try to take you into the back room and do inappropriate things to you.
Well, I mean, unless it's a double Dutch rudder where you both get something out of it, right?
I'm glad my uncle wasn't asking me for that. So,
Well, they usually don't ask. They play a game. Hey, we're gonna play a game.
Yeah, Janie's got a gun.
It's called Shh, Don't Tell. Right?
There's a lot of guns in my family too. They're probably kind of one of the discouraging factors on that kind of situation. But I should tell you this. I'll tell you this another story sometime about my grandfather coming out on the porch with a shotgun when the police showed up at his house. That's a fun one.
It's definitely not a Thanksgiving story.
No, it's not a Thanksgiving story. But yeah, it was. My grandfather was something else. I'm still learning new things about him to today. But I never really, my grandparents on my dad's side, I didn't really. I don't know if I came out there for Thanksgiving really or not. Maybe I did once in a while. We'd come out there for Christmas. I basically only saw my grandparents on my dad's side. Like my parents would drop me off out there for a couple of weeks every summer. It was like summer camp with my grandparents, which basically consisted of me eating beans and potatoes and milk, going on long walks with my grandfather, trying to not have him yell at me while he's drunk. So, hey, fun times in the 80s for me there. Nice. Although now I look back at it now and I go, man, I really should have appreciated it more. I mean, just the whole being in the country, being able to see the stars, just the whole, they had like 33 acres of land, I wish was still in the family. And just having that much land and solitude, now I would appreciate it. As a 14, I don't know why 14 is my favorite year. It was not in life, but let's say as a 12-year-old boy being stuck on 30 acres of land with only your grandparents around who had no cable TV. Okay, again, no cable TV, no phones. I mean, okay, they literally had a party line rotary phone.
Nice.
I'm stuck out there for 2 weeks. How fun does that sound to you for a 12-year-old boy?
It sounds terrible. It sounds terrible. even right now, I wouldn't want to be trapped out there. I wouldn't. To me, it's still.
I love it now. You just give me a box full of books and some time, and give me a damn candle. I'll be fucking happy. Well, what 2 weeks where people can't reach me, they can't bug me, they can't ask me for crap. I'm left alone. I have time to think. I got time to whatever. I'd love it, but to a 12-year-old boy, man, that's torture.
For me, I have a goal, and I think it's pretty simple. Is my whole life is scheduled, like between work and kids and their school and their sports and their mom living in a different house. Everything is, I have like 15 alarms in my phone that go off 15 times a day to remind me to do something, including waking up. Right. I just want to go somewhere for 2 weeks and I just can just turn the alarms off. Just
to wake up with nothing that you have to do.
Well, wake up when I wake up, not because I have to wake up.
Yeah.
And then I can just roll over and go back to bed because I've got nothing to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's going to be a while before I can get that goal, but that is,
it's a good goal.
That's the goal, to stop needing an alarm. And not so I get fired from my job so I don't have a job. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I need to chill on the fucking alarms.
Let's just put it this way. We're the only species on the planet that lives the way we do. Because there ain't no wolf going, oh shit, it's 9 o'clock. Got to get up and get some rabbits. I don't know why I get that accent. But anyway.
Wait, wolves don't sound like that? Of course they do. Everybody knows that. You're spot on, man. Way to go.
I got to get up early in the morning, sniff some butts, get out the door,
Now I kind of want to be a wolf.
Yeah.
Speaking of sniffing butts, but not really. Speaking of sniffing butts, I went to 7-Eleven 2 nights ago and I was just getting some potato wedges. I didn't have a chance to eat at work and it was like midnight. And I was like, I'll just get some wedges on the way home. And while I was paying, I look over at the Slurpee machine. It's like, it's midnight. I shouldn't get one, but I saw a label that I'd never seen before. So I walk over to it and it's called Black Cherry. And I was like, well, I've had Coke Cherry, but this is just
Right.
the label was black with a cherry in the middle. So
Black cherry.
not Dr. Pepper, not Fanta. I don't know what the brand was, but I grabbed a cup and I filled it up and it was black slushy. So solid fucking black, like blacker than Coke, blacker than the Pepsi. 'Cause those are usually brown, right?
Right. It's kind of like grape juice looking is what it looks like.
Yeah, so it's like
but blacker instead of purple.
Solid black. Took it home, ate my wedges, drank the Slurpee. Yesterday I went to go take a dump, right?
It was black.
It was the darkest green I had seen in years. And I was like, oh my God, this reminds me of when I'm down in the States, obviously, because you guys have like no rules when it comes to like health for food.
No, we don't care. We just want to kill us all as fast as possible.
the Captain Crunch, oops, all berries. So all crunch berries. Whenever I buy that in the States and I eat a bowl, my shit is green for like 4 days. We have oops, all berries in Canada. It comes out once every couple of years. I could eat the entire box and my shit is the same as my normal shit. But somehow when I eat it in the States, the fucking dyes in those like balls of crunch berries turns my shit green. But my Slurpee shit the other night was green. And it just like memories came back. I'm like, man, this reminds me of all my road trips to the States. So tonight I'm gonna go buy one of those. Because
you know what's really good? I like this. You take a black cherry and like a pina colada, if they have a pina colada, and do a mix. That's delicious.
I'll see if they have it. I mean, I get to enjoy pina colada and green poop the next day.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and it smells like coconut, maybe. You can be like a bonus.
Which has nothing to do with Thanksgiving. So you're so far off
you
target.
Thank God you're still regular. I mean, at this point in life, you'd be thankful you're still regular. I'm happy. I mean, every day, man.
I'm thankful I'm able to try this and do this. That's where it stands.
I got your idea for the next podcast. You just need to try foods that change your poop color.
I would have to go down to the States for that because I don't find that happens in Canada with anything. But down in the States, it's definitely a thing.
Well, I mean, Canada and Europe, they actually have food protection. We have the fraud department of America. I mean, the food department, whatever the FDA stands for. It stands for, hey, pay us off, but allegedly. But that's just for protection there. So they don't
obviously we don't want to get
allegedly it stands for, hey, we'll take what you give us to approve this, but it's allegedly. But yeah, we definitely make sure that the dye job is on point when it comes to our food, like Skittles. I'm sure Skittles is super healthy.
Well, I have to try some Skittles from the States.
Skittles and black cherry, and man,
done.
Yeah. So anyway, what?
To
summarize, be thankful for Thanksgiving while you have it. Find the thanks where you can. Find the silver lining. Realize that what. Life's temporary anyway, so you might as well enjoy the ride.
And just like the history of Thanksgiving in Canada, where it falls upon multiple dates, multiple years, multiple reasons, you can be thankful any time of the day, any time of the year, any time of the month for anything you want. Yeah. And if you can celebrate it with someone, even better.
Yeah. And I didn't really talk a lot about American history, but pretty much any holiday, we turn it into something capitalist that we can sell a ton of something for. So perfect. Although technically at this point in America, we pretty much go straight from Halloween to Christmas, and Thanksgiving is just a road bump of a turkey that gets ran over by Santa's reindeer on the way to delivering us a bunch of crap we don't need to buy and give to everybody on Christmas Day, because it's gotten de-emphasized in America. Thanksgiving is kind of pushed down. I mean, we literally went from having like the day after Halloween stuff was over, Christmas stuff was everywhere. There was no Thanksgiving stuff. It just went straight to like Christmas.
So seeing as our Thanksgiving is before Halloween, and you're talking about the stuff on the shelves changing, mine happened. I didn't have candy for Halloween. I was only going to be home for like 2 hours in the afternoon before going to work. And I thought, well, in those 2 hours, kids are going to come here because it's after school and it's before dark.
Right.
I don't have any candy and it's Halloween. I didn't plan on being home, but I happened to be home. So I was like, shit, I need to go get candy. So I drove down to Walmart. All the Halloween stuff was down and Christmas stuff was already up. So on the day of Halloween, they didn't even have any candy and Christmas stuff was already up. So then
Wow.
I went to 3 more grocery stores. I went to like a shopping, like you guys don't have Shoppers Drug Mart, but picture
No.
like a Pharmasave or a TJ Maxx or something, right? Something like
Okay.
that. And they didn't have any candy. Their Christmas stuff was up. So like fucking 7 places where I
Yeah,
live
yeah. I didn't even
on
get a chance to.
Halloween.
Yeah, I didn't even get a chance to get Halloween discount candy afterward. It was just like
Yep.
Halloween gone, Christmas.
Yeah. The day of Halloween, it was already gone. I couldn't even, yeah, they had no discounted candy this year. None.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't
There was
even
none.
have Halloween candy on Halloween.
The thing is a lot of the places I saw, they were running out of Halloween candy before Halloween. I think they just didn't buy nearly as much, or they didn't get their supply that they normally get in. I think they were just short.
But I was actually I wasn't angry. I was disgusted with how much Christmas stuff was up the
Yeah,
day of Halloween. So what I
yeah.
did, I didn't go home. I had my kid with me. We just went to McDonald's and we had a late lunch, early dinner. So I just sat there for 2 hours while he played in the play place. And
So
then I
you
went
weren't
to work.
home.
Yeah.
You weren't home to deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really, Thanksgiving and Christmas used to be my favorite holidays of the year because I got to be with families, be with my grandparents,
Yeah.
enjoy these meals and this time. And now that that's gone and I don't have it, it's literally almost just any other day to me anymore. There's no, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to be a depressing bummer, but as a single guy, I don't have a lot, I don't have family, I don't have kids. These holidays are meaningless to me. They're just, oh, okay, I'm not at work today. I guess I'll do yard work. Woo, holiday, baby.
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I look back and I enjoy the ones I had, and I appreciate them for when I had them. But you look, it's very easy to look at that and understand when you see people and you wonder. When I was younger and I'd see older people and I'd wonder like how'd they end up like that or how did their life end up like that? And now I understand it more as I've gotten older. The challenges you go through until you've gone through them, you can hear all kinds of song lyrics that warn you about how life can happen and books, and you're like, oh, that shit won't happen to me. I'm different.
And then one day you're old
And then
and
one
it's
day
done.
you're old and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, man.
That's it's a ride, man. And then you don't, and if you didn't appreciate it when you should have, then all you can do is look back and appreciate it as a memory, you know.
Well, and
So
to wrap it up with something on point, like you said, you wake up and you're old, but
right,
that's something to be thankful for because a lot of people don't even get that,
that's right.
right? They
I
don't make
give
it to old.
no, how many thousands of young men died before they even became men, in the past.
I'm still not a man. I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm still alive.
I'll take your virginity, Clay.
Oh, sweet. Yes, finally I could be a man.
Yes,
Will I
but
finally grow pubes?
yeah, you're right. Be thankful that you got the ability to grow old.
Yeah.
Even if I don't, here's the thing. I still got time left, and as we've talked about things before, we got a lot to do yet in this life, and we're going to enjoy it. And don't settle for what you got. You got to work for it and move forward, and
Double
be
Dutch Rudders
grateful.
all
Be
around.
grateful for it. That's right. I got a $25,000 house in the Philippines to build, baby, and a harem.
Better start now.
That's a lot of crap to sell.
Depending
But yes.
where you buy your people from, the hair might cost a lot of money.
Well, I'm not buying the harem.
Oh.
I'm just buying the house.
Oh.
And the harem comes included.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's like batteries with the Christmas toy.
Oh, batteries are never included, you idiot. Ever included. How many times did you get a toy for Christmas and your parents were like, fuck, I didn't have batteries, right?
Well, could have been a pair of socks. Socks for Christmas.
Yeah, the amount of vibrators that I got as a child from family members as gifts, and none of them came with batteries. And I had this one, I remember when I turned 9, it took 11 D-cell batteries. Like, Jesus Christ.
That was the Mama Jamma 5000, wasn't it? I think I've seen that model.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I'm still waiting for my Cherry 2000 to be underneath the Christmas tree, man. After I saw that movie, I'm like, ooh, I want one of those.
I can't tell you.
What 15-year-old boy doesn't want one of those?
Yeah, no shit.
So hopefully before I die, that'll actually be a real thing. I'm hoping it is.
Yeah. Well, hopes and dreams. Nobody can really take those away from you, can they?
That's right. Not unless you let them.
Yeah.
Not unless you let them. Don't let those bastards grind you down. That's a good quote from Lemmy, the Motorhead.
Absolutely.
So with that, I just want to say another great podcast. I hope all the listeners, all the millions and millions around the world that are tuning into this, have a great holiday season, have a great Thanksgiving, and a great, probably won't get us till after Thanksgiving maybe, but if you don't, have a great Christmas, and we'll be back with another episode.
Yeah, we will. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Peace out.
Peace.